Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. You know what I like? I like Portland. I live up here in Tacoma, but this past weekend I went down for just a weekend trip. My wife and I wanted to just get out of town and check out something new. You know, we had been kind of staying home for the past year and getting a little bit nuts. So it was a wonderful trip. We stayed in a couple of cool hotels. We ate at a great restaurant called the People's Pig where I had brisket. I love brisket. I just everywhere I go, I try the brisket. That's easy for me. Anyway, I wanted to show you some comics. Right, I spend my time mostly in dollar bins or in kind of the cheap section. I'm not really ready to make big purchases yet. I'm coming back to the hobby after maybe a 10-year break, where I didn't have money then, and I need to pace myself now, so I kind of want to approach it different now. Instead of thinking, will this be worth a lot? I want to make sure that I'm getting comics that I really enjoy. I want to be a little bit cautious about what I'm purchasing and making sure that I take better care of these things than I had before. But also, I want to make sure that I'm enjoying them. I got into this kind of habit of buying things and thinking someday it'll be worth a lot. I kind of like some people do with Beanie Babies and things like that. I actually want to enjoy the things that I have, and that's why I think this is a great time for me to come back into this hobby. So I went down to Portland and I picked up a bunch of comics, mostly from one shop called Excalibur. So if you go down there, I recommend it. They've got a ton of long boxes there. Comics didn't have backer boards, they were bagged, so expect the comic conditions to take a little bit of a beating, but I thought the prices were pretty fair for what I got, and I found a lot of cool stuff. It was great. Variety is the spice of life, and if you're into cheap comics, Excalibur had a lot of cool stuff. They also had variants and things like that in the case, so higher priced items, but that's not what I'm shopping for just yet. Anyway, I wanted to show you some cool stuff that I came across. I am definitely filling up my Ren and Stimpy collection. Out of the 44 issue original run, I have 11 more to go. I think in the last video I said that issue number 2 is the funniest. I'm reading my way through them. I gotta scratch that. Issue number 9, I just finished maybe the first couple pages. I was laughing so hard at this last night that I decided that was a good place to end the day, and I went to bed. I know that a lot of people are into superhero comics. I definitely collect a lot of those, but coming back into it, and if I'm looking for reader issues that are cheap and really fun, Ren and Stimpy has been such a great series to come back into. I think you could probably find issue number 1 for maybe $5 or less. Issue number 44 I was able to find for maybe $4. So it's pretty easy to collect that series if you're coming back into it. If you're gonna find them in comic shops, sometimes they have them in the dollar bins, other times they have them in the kids section. So just letting you know. All right, another series that I collect a lot of is Iron Man, and look, I got a ton of Iron Men. I'm really trying to collect issues 1 through 100. However, there are a couple of issues in there. I think issue number 1, maybe issue number 55. They cost a lot right now, so I'm collecting around it. I'm not so sure that I want to spend that kind of money just yet as I'm coming back into this, but they're definitely they're on my radar. I've seen them in stores a couple times and I thought, oh, all right. Was it 55? I don't remember right now. I wanted to show you a few covers though that I picked up from Iron Man. We've look at this. Now my ancient enemy, take that blade and slit your throat. Come on, that's aggressive. But then this one, this is so serious, right? In the morning, Tony Stark will be sober or dead. And then, look, that's incredibly dramatic. I really look forward to finding out more about this. This cover really says a whole bunch. And then I've got this one. Nothing special about this issue in my opinion, but it's the purchase. I'm coming back into it. I'm learning a few lessons, and again I fail. One is update my list. If I am trying to collect a bunch of Iron Mans, I need to make sure that I'm not buying a bunch of duplicates. I already have this one. The second is, even if it's in the dollar bin or the cheap section, I need to make sure that there's at least a standard condition that I'm willing to accept. And I think that's the case for any type of used item, right? So not just comics, but if you're going to be buying used books and stuff, have some standards. You're not going to be happy with it if it's torn and all that kind of stuff. And in this case, for a duplicate book, it's all kinds of, it's spider webbed and stuff. I don't know. I'm building a bit of a dollar bin myself due to all of these mistakes that I'm making in the hobby. So, yep. Moving on. All right. I guess another thing, right? I gotta look out for sticky junk that's on the cover. I don't like that. I would rather have folds or maybe even little tears in the corner than this sticky junk. So that's too bad. I found this one. I just got it because I like the cover. Is Wolverine looking to raid Area 51 with that pose? That's pretty cool. Oh, so What If number one. I like the What If series and I just came across this, but then I realized that this is What If Volume 2 number one. So I'm still happy to have it, but you tricked me again. Those like facsimile editions that you can get in places? Those ones trick me all the time. X Factor number one. Pretty cool. As a little kid, this came out at a time where the prices in the stores was just out of my reach, so I never got it. I'm glad I got this on the cheap during this trip. I'm really happy to have this. This might stay in my forever collection. Unless, of course, I could get better quality, but I got this in the cheap box, so that's cool. New Mutants 45. Is this Uma Thurman? It seems out of time. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know anything about this. All right, another collection that I'm making is comic covers that remind me of my wife. Just a couple weeks ago, I picked up Eros and Psyche number 2, which had poppies on the cover, and poppies remind me of my wife. And surprise, surprise, the same series had a Harry Potter cover. She's a big fan of Harry Potter, so I picked this up. It's not specifically that I'm looking for stuff in this series, but it's pretty neat and a pretty neat coincidence that Eros and Psyche has those qualities. And then I picked up a few more X-Men. I really liked this cover here, and I was explaining that to my wife. There's so much mystery about this character than even Wolverine approaching in the alley, and I just love the amount of detail. I love that you get the shadow of his claws here in the bottom. That's it for the comics haul I got. But then if you see behind me, I got a few books as well. I picked up Success is 90% Spite. I don't know anything about it, but I opened it up. It's pretty hilarious. I think it's really worthwhile. I picked it up at Powell's Books too. So if you've been to Portland, you know about Powell. Then I picked up Vision. I've been recommended this book by a couple of my local comic shops, and they didn't have it in stock. So since it was at Powell's, I decided to grab it. And then I found Rick and Morty Presents Volume 2. I know these things are everywhere. It's not like I have to go way out of town to go get it, but it was there for a good price. And I wanted to have something fun to read in the evening, so definitely a good haul. One thing that disappointed me was I was out there looking for art prints. I remember the last times I've been to Portland, it felt like art was everywhere. I was able to find people selling just prints. Nothing caught my attention this time, and that was too bad. Some pieces were nice, but they were very, very expensive, and they didn't strike my fancy enough, I suppose. So that was too bad. I'm gonna keep being on the hunt there. I did pick up some Portland-based stickers, which I think were pretty cool, and I put that all over my, what is that called? A store folio, where you put the comics in the box. I don't know if that's a nerdy thing to do, but that's what I do because I don't want to further damage what I have. That's it. That was my Portland trip. I recommend, so again, Excalibur Comics. I went to a few other places, but I don't know if I'll go back to them before I'll go back to Excalibur, because that really kind of checked all the boxes, and that was the first place I visited. I'm sure there are other great ones. I'm not talking trash about the others. It's just for what I was looking for. It was a great price, and they definitely had more that I was looking for there. So, well, thanks for checking back in. I'm probably not just gonna only talk about comics here, but lately that's what I've been into. So that's it. Bye.